Hello, welcome to GameSlean. We're back from E3. It's Thursday night. It's great to be here. GameSlean TV is a weekly news and review show. Every week we bring you the latest news and review the latest games. We got a great show lined up tonight. Man, the next generation console war is heating up. We're going to talk about that a little bit for the news, and then for a review this week, we're talking about The Last of Us. So let's get right to it. First thing we got to do is get everybody introduced. My name is Chris, and I'm your host. To my right on the co-host sofa, we've got Steve. How's it going?
Pretty good.
There he is.
To his right, we've got Jeff.
What's up?
8. Over on production, we've got Xander.
Yeah. How's it going?
All right.
Like it's gonna bust it or something. Whatever.
All right, as long as you got activity on that thing. Over on co-production, we've got Nick.
Hello there.
Wearing the new GameSlean shirt.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Very professional.
Who's in the background?
Yeah, who's this? Who's this creeper in the background?
Of course, joining us remotely via Skype, we've got Tomb.
Yeah, that's me. Tomba.
Tom B.
Right here.
Yeah.
Still here.
Yeah, so we are off to a late start tonight. But let's get going with news of the week. First thing we got, so the big thing this week, with E3 and stuff, Microsoft's been taking a lot of heat, but there's breaking news recently yesterday. They're doing some backpedaling now. They've announced that they've completely scrapped their plans for always-on DRM, no used games. Now they're saying things are going to work exactly the same as the Sony PS4. So some thoughts on that? No 24-hour check-in.
What a surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sounding better.
Crap was bound to happen.
It's better. It's just funny that they backpedaled like that.
I mean, it's smart of them to do that because.
I guess I just don't really trust them anymore. Like if you're gonna backpedal like that, it's like I don't want to buy your product.
Well, I mean, they probably caught so much heat for.
Exactly. That's
so it's like
there's so much backlash with this.
Yeah.
That they got caught in a lie. The fans noticed, and they pretty much just caught in a lie.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't get caught in a lie. They were like, "We're doing this," and everyone on the internet
listened.
was like, "No, that's terrible." So they're
yeah,
like,
well, they pretty
"All
much,
right, we'll do it this way."
They obviously didn't have the right idea at first, but they listened
Yeah.
in the end. So I mean, I'll give them props for that. But
Well, I mean, they realized that their entire business was in critical jeopardy unless they made some massive changes. But I mean, it's a victory for people who actually play video games because a larger company actually listened for a change.
I mean, smart move for Microsoft, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, it makes them competitive again.
Right. Well, the thing I'm kind of disappointed in is that the family plan they announced, or the shared game circle, where you could actually have all of your games go into a library after you buy it, and then you can select up to 10 friends where, you could have, everybody has access to your game. So that seemed like a cool thing, but now that they've kind of went back, now that's not going to be possible anymore. So it sounded cool. I was looking forward to it. So it's a shame that's not going to work anymore.
Yeah, it sucks, but I mean, it's a small negative, price to pay considering now, you don't have to connect online. You can get used games. You can trade in your games, and I mean, you can still lend your games to your friends now. Whereas before, you may have had that sharing plan, but was it like 10 friends you can share with, or up to 10 games?
Yeah, and I think actually you had to, if someone was using it, they'd have it checked out, so only one person can use it at once.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. But
It's basically like, don't worry, bros. You can share your 10 copies of Madden with everybody now, and now you can trade them all in. It's all set.
Right. How about this though? Has this changed now with that announcement though? Has that changed anybody's purchase intent?
No.
So now are you gonna buy it now since they announced that?
I think once the holiday season
No.
comes around, I think the competition will be stiffer. I think we're, just this happens. We're still kind of like angry at Microsoft, but I think as the holiday, like I just said, as the holiday season comes around, I think the competition will be stiffer.
Yeah.
I'm very angry at Microsoft, but I've said it before. I just want to see some actual games that make me want to buy that system. So far, what I saw
not really.
was not something that was just exclusive to Xbox, where I was like, I have to get that system to play that game. Because all the games I was like, that looks awesome, I can play on PC or PS4.
Sure. That's true. The thought that I saw being thrown around was that, they can backpedal now, but Microsoft did try to screw everybody, so now they've really kind of turned a lot of people off. So is that?
Yeah, I mean, to me, like I said, it always comes back to the games. Steve, what is your thought?
I mean, games obviously, but as far as system goes, like I said, I'll give Microsoft props for getting their act together, but PS4 seems like they kind of have the right idea, and I feel like they're more gamer focused right now. So I guess I'm kind of rooting for them right now.
At E3, I thought Microsoft showed games and nothing but games, which I really liked. But when you compare it to Sony is just like their tempo is just like it just increased from February, and it's just like when you compare the two, it's just the PS4 is $100 cheaper, and it's like that. I think at this point is really what's gonna make the difference.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's $100 cheaper, and you said they showed a lot of games. They did, but like one of their best games they showed that was that on the Xbox conference was The Witcher 3, and that's going to be on everything. So
I also like Rise.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, Microsoft really doesn't have a lot of totally like system selling exclusives. Like, I mean, they've got Killer Instinct, which is cool, and like Rise. I know Rise looks okay, but like there's nothing that's like sold me on the system.
Killer Instinct's not even made by Rare this time, so who knows how
Quantum
that's
Break
be.
Actually, to me, looks actually really cool. That's another one.
I mean, Killer Instinct does look cool.
Yeah,
but,
it looked cool. We'll see how.
Not
that's
enough
Not
for me to buy
not
an
a
Xbox
system not a
One
system
yet.
seller though.
Maybe down the line. I mean, with the whole DRM changes and all that stuff, like I can see myself getting an Xbox One way down the line, but I'm rooting for PS4 right now.
Yeah,
And I'm not the
PS4.
biggest Halo fanboy, but I enjoy the series for what it is. I thought that trailer looked cool. I mean, it was just all CG, so no actual gameplay, but it was kind of exciting, like the way it built up to revealing Master Chief in that trailer. So I thought that was cool, but overall, like it was a lot of games, but in the end, like nothing that made me want to buy that specific system because I can play them on PS4 or PC. So.
Gotcha. Well, for me, so I mean, I'm willing because we know Halo's coming, we know Titanfall's coming. I'm willing to buy it based on the promise of future games, but I know that's probably not for everybody. But we'll have to wait and see. They should have more stuff coming later.
I will say this: I'll get the system eventually, but right now I'm aiming at PS4 first. A few years down the line, after a few price drops, then I'll get Xbox One and I'll play the backlog of games I've missed. It'll pretty much be a reverse of what I did this last generation. I got Xbox 360 at launch, got PS3 years later, and now just gonna reverse it just from what I've seen. And then Nintendo just fits in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're their own thing.
As long as they keep putting out Metroid and Zelda, I mean, I'll always be grabbing.
Yeah,
those systems.
they obviously
That's
will
an entirely
forever.
different story, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then moving on. So that whole Microsoft thing is going to continue to develop. So we'll keep our eye on it, and we'll see how things pan out this holiday. But I think I'm with you guys, and the PS4, it's got everybody's attention at this point. So you're gonna have the Xbox diehards that are going to get it no matter what. But I think they definitely did some damage to themselves with this with this whole thing lately.
I mean, it didn't help that Sony has been like a marketing machine for the past couple of months. Like they've been doing a really, really great job at marketing the PS4 for the next generation.
I agree.
So I mean,
They're balling.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely balling.
Okay, so then let's move on to E3. I want to touch on a couple things about E3. Tom and I were there last week. It was definitely awesome. You guys got to check out our website at GameSlean.tv. We've got a bunch of our impression videos already up. Keep an eye on that because we're going to have more to come. And then next week, we're going to have some type of E3 special. What we saw at E3 and what we were able to get our hands on is way more than what we have time for here on the weekly show. So sometime next week, I'm not sure when, we're going to have an episode exclusively for our E3 stuff. So be on the lookout for that. Let's see. I want to say thank you to everybody we met and everybody that came to say hi. So on Tuesday, we were doing a video at the Square booth for Jamdat Turbo. I wanted to say thank you to everybody that helped us with that. Shout outs to Angry Joe, Pro Jared, Craig from Screw Attack, Roger Barr, Robert Welkner, and also a huge thanks to Alfred at Square Enix. Can't believe I screwed that up.
Alfred is awesome and was instrumental in getting us into E3 to get whatever coverage we could. And I mean, in general, all around awesome dude. So thank you very much, Alfred.
Thanks,
Yes,
dude.
very much. Thank you so much, Alfred, for everything. It was awesome hanging out at the Square Enix booth this year at E3. So that should do it for the news. I think there's stuff coming out of E3. Like I said, we'll touch on it more next week. But let's move on to our review this week. So this week we're talking about The Last of Us for PlayStation 3. So
Yeah.
yeah, super highly anticipated. A whole bunch of perfect scores from a bunch of places. So let's get right to it. Let's get our scores up there and see what we've got.
All right, who's going first?
Put up my score first. All right, so there we go. I gave graphics a 9, gameplay a 9.5, sound an 8.5, and 9.5 overall. And again, you could see these scores up here, and they might not add up to, each individual thing might not add up to the overall score, but I feel that you can have a game that might be more than the sum of its parts or less. We've yet to have a game, because we've only had a couple episodes so far, but we've yet to have a game that's actually less than the sum of its parts. But I do anticipate that will happen eventually. So
Sure.
Here's my scores. Go to the next one.
10
Chris
across the
again.
board.
Yep. Jeff
All right,
throwing
Chris
out the
again.
perfect score.
No,
Wow.
I said this before. I'll keep this short, but I don't think it's the perfect game. But I think it's pretty much the pinnacle or one of the pinnacle games on PS3. So I think it deserves that.
Okay.
All right,
All
so
right,
yeah,
up next.
graphics I gave it a 9, gameplay an 8, sound 7, and overall I gave the game a 9.
Really? Sound to 7? What didn't you like about the sound?
Well, if you want to get
Oh,
into
yeah,
that
good.
now, pretty much
We,
with,
we can we can wait and get into it, but I'm curious.
Yeah, hold that thought.
Who's up next here?
It's Nick.
Nick,
Yeah.
almost a perfect score.
Yeah. I gave graphics a 10, gameplay a 9.5, and sound a 9. And overall, I gave it a 9.8.
All
Best game on the PS3.
right. All right.
Okay. Let's start off with the graphics then.
We're
since
gonna
the-
skip Tomb here.
Yeah, you can just
Nope.
skip
Tom-
the
Tom
my-
B.
well, here we
my-
go. Yeah, another
yeah,
perfect
here-
score, of course.
Here we go.
Right?
Tom B. Yeah, another perfect score. I'll talk. I mean, I'm gonna go into it more so in a little bit, but
Sure.
I mean, it's definitely the game of this generation for PS3. It was awesome. So, very, very, very excellent experience.
Okay. Well, let's go down the line then. Let's start off with the graphics. I'll say since this is a Naughty Dog game, the graphics look a lot like Uncharted 2 or 3. So of course, those are when people talk about those games. Usually, the graphics, have a certain amount of acclaim. So it's gonna look good. You know that going in. Personally, I had a couple issues with slowdowns and some frame rate drops and stuff, but nothing major. So overall, I thought the graphics were actually very, very good. Everything is highly detailed, and overall the graphics are excellent. Do you guys agree?
Oh, well, yeah, obviously with the 10. Like I said, best, I think it's, I mean, every category I will say this, like, again, is either the best on the system or one of the best. I thought the graphics looked awesome, had cool art design, really fit the setting. Like, when you're walking through, whether it's like the corroded cities or like the more like nature type areas, like through the woods, it just, lots of foliage, like the cool lighting effects. Even you get like the little like animals like flying by or running by, like little details like that. I really enjoyed. I didn't have any problems with the graphics at all. I think everything looked really good, really crisp.
Yeah, to touch on the graphics, I thought even the character models were done really well, especially Ellie's. Her facial expressions and just her character model in general is just excellent. It's probably one of the best character models I've seen in a video game.
Yeah, Joel was done really well too. Like a lot of very subtle nuances to his face.
Yeah, he
Like
was.
when
I
his-
just thought Ellie's, compared to the two, I just thought Ellie's just looked a lot better. Not a lot better, but just better.
I mean, I
in
thought
general.
all the character models looked awesome. They all showed some like cool emotion with the facial expressions. They didn't have like that dead like computerized look. So
Right.
Yeah, they didn't look like creepy mannequins.
I mean, the cutscenes they shined. I mean, during gameplay, I felt like the facial expressions weren't exactly as crisp. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Well, yeah, obviously.
but I felt like it looked good, especially still looked good on the gameplay, but you're not exactly facing the camera right on someone's face in the gameplay either. So I guess through the use of like camera tricks and stuff, you're not unless you specifically stop the game, swing the camera around and stare at it for a bit, I didn't think it really detracted at all.
Sometimes I do that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, when I played, I definitely had a lot of moments where I fell out of the world and just fell into a pit of openness, and that happened to me.
Did you
several
really?
times.
To like graphical glitches
yeah.
and stuff?
Let me
I
bring
got a lot
that
of
up
that.
too.
Really? Yeah, I didn't see any of that.
Okay, I want to bring that up actually. I got the game, installed it, and right away there's a patch 1.01. That was just regular update, and there was a save game glitch. I played for an hour at first, and then my game didn't save at all. I had to restart. It was only an hour, big deal, and it was fun. After they fixed it, then there were some graphical glitches just at the beginning where like the world was just like disappeared. One cutscene actually froze. It's already been fixed, so they were really quick about fixing it. I didn't notice anything after like that first like hour or so of playing, and everything else was smooth. I don't want to detract it from my score because it was a pain for the first few minutes, but it was only the beginning, and they've already smoothed out everything. I've had no problems since, so they were pretty quick about fixing everything.
I mean, I got the game not on launch, so I got the game after that patch was released, and that did happen to me a few times. Not enough for me to hate on the game at all, but it definitely did kind of was like, it sucks when that happens. Like when you're playing a game, you're getting into the story, you're like, oh, I'm progressing, and then there's nothing I can do. I have to die now, and it's even hard to die.
Yeah, I had a few issues graphically as well. Just like I don't know if you guys ever had this, but I had the game. I'm sure you guys mentioned it before too. I had the game freeze a bunch of times as well. But like Jeff said, it's not enough to take me away from the total score. But I did have some freezing issues as well with the game.
Yeah, but overall the game did look really good.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting. Now there were a lot of people that reported the autosave bug, and somehow I managed to avoid all that stuff. I didn't have any falling through the world or graphic glitches, or like I said, there were a couple spots where there was a lot of stuff going on and things were really busy, so the frame rate dropped. But I didn't get nailed by the autosave glitch, and I didn't see any of that other stuff. So that's strange.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they squashed it pretty quick. So I think it was only around for like the first day or so. There might be a few lingering things here and there, but I felt like they were pretty good with fixing it up with some just some like quick patches, like nothing major.
Right. But so overall, everybody was happy with the way the game looked.
Yeah, it looks great. Very very immersive.
Okay, so if there's nothing more on graphics, let's move on to the sound. Now, the sound, I'll note the music. I mean, I thought the music was well done. It does fit the tone of the game, but for whatever reason, I just didn't care for it that much. To me, nothing really stood out in the soundtrack, and it's possible that that's what they were going for. With the acoustic folk sounding stuff. But to me, it was sort of forgettable. So I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it fit really well. A lot of the sounds you're getting like a very eerie feel to the whole game, which like I said, it was just really fitting, and I really enjoyed it.
All right, yeah. Let me jump on that too. I felt like it was like not a big booming soundtrack, which I felt was good for this game because
it was subtle,
eerie and low. Yeah, there was subtlety. What I heard sounded good for music, but sound effects were awesome. I felt like the gunshots and everything sounded good, and I thought the voice acting was phenomenal in this game. Like I was
it was
really
top notch. Yeah.
So not something. It's not like a soundtrack where I'm going to be like listening to all the time. Like jamming my head to it like it's like Mega Man 2 or something. But I thought like the music fit the purpose of the game. Sound effects are great, and in the end, that like some of the best voice acting I've heard too. Like I said, it was really powerful, really emotional.
Yeah, I mean the opening, even just like the start screen, I feel like really like sets the mood for the game, and like the music, I wouldn't say is anything memorable, but it does work well with the game. But my one gripe was, when you're playing, like there's times in the game when you really have to be stealthy. And then you're trying to sneak up on somebody, and the character you're with just like starts talking to you, and they're talking like loud and shouting, but it doesn't attract the attention of the enemy. and I feel like that kind of takes away from the game a little bit because I'm like so concentrated and I'm not getting caught, and then they talk and.
I've heard a lot of people bring that up.
Yeah.
For me, and I guess this kind of goes into gameplay too. For me, it didn't take away too much because I know it's supposed to be. I mean, it's post-apocalyptic with like zombies.
Every game ever has that. I don't think I've ever seen a game where they've like, okay, sneak around, and all the other characters are like, shut up now, I'm trying to sneak. Don't say anything.
Yeah, there's some rules that allow like to bend like the whole like stealth thing too that you brought up, like the fact that the characters do kind of hide, but like
they don't hide very well. Like there's been times where I was hiding and then like an enemy or like my party members were right next to an enemy and they didn't see them.
Yeah.
They could be running around right out in the open, and they,
like,
as long as they don't spot you, right?
Like in the game, it's awesome.
Yeah,
like it's a
you
great
gotta,
game,
you gotta
but
suspend a
little
little
stuff like that
disbelief.
does kind of take you out. Like it doesn't immerse you as well as it would if that was not there.
Okay.
I'll agree with that, and I guess we're kind of getting into gameplay here, but I understand where it could kind of break the immersion. It didn't bother me too much, but I'd rather have them not be something that alerts the guard instead of having it with you have to make sure your AI guys hide as well, because let's face it, like you can have the best AI, but like pathfinding in any game is never perfect, and I would hate to get like a ton of game over screens or death scenes just because the stupid AI decided to run across the hallway when there was like a a swarm of like clickers like walking down.
Yeah.
So I'd rather that be solely focused on what I'm doing and not what my AI companions are doing there.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so yeah. Anything else on sound? I mean, the sound effects were all very, very good. I thought it was, you can really tell, like when you're slamming a dude's face down into the environment, or you're using
melee combat.
the melee weapons. You're slicing stuff, and
When
the sound effects are well
when
done.
you sneak up and you're gonna strangle an enemy, there's something really not like with Uncharted, it's kind of like it has like this really fun vibe about it, or this is just not. It's eerie.
Yeah, it's like
the
dirty.
whole game itself is just like it's really dark.
Yeah, it's gritty.
It's the end of the world, pretty much.
But yeah, I mean that's supposed to be the world that they're living in. So I mean it's all very appropriate.
Yeah,
and it fit the tone of the game very well.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, and like everybody touched on before, I mean this kind of shows you the difference between like getting like just like a generic voice actor and getting like real voice actors to do the reading here. And it was written very well. It's Troy Baker and Ashley, whatever her name is, Ashley. I forget her name, but they did a fantastic job with the read
Ashley
through.
does an amazing job with Ellie's voice. That actually stood out. Troy Baker, I mean, Troy's in everything. You can tell he's not. I mean, and I'm sure he does this with all of his roles. He's not speaking with his natural speaking voice, but
right, yeah.
if I may have been able to tell a little bit, but if I hadn't seen from the credits or known beforehand that it wasn't Troy, I wouldn't have known right away, as opposed to like Booker in BioShock and versus Snow in Final Fantasy. You can definitely hear the similarities there. With this one, he's doing something distinctive.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He said. I mean, he did a phenomenal job. So I mean, hats off to him.
Yeah. All right. So high scores all around on the sound. Let's move on to gameplay then. Now, so as we mentioned, since this is a Naughty Dog game, it looks similar to Uncharted, so it plays similar as well, minus the platforming and a higher emphasis on stealth. So I played it on hard, and I felt that the enemies, especially the clickers, were challenging, but none of the enemies in the game are necessarily cheap.
No, I mean, it's anytime you die, it's pretty much your fault. I didn't play it on hard yet. I played it on normal. I'm probably going to just skip hard and go to Survivor next. But I felt like, the gameplay was solid. I can see the Uncharted comparison, but I think a lot of it's a bias because it's coming from Naughty Dog, and I guess the graphics, while different, have that similar look. Obviously, like a grittier tone, but I felt like there's definitely more of an emphasis on stealth, and in the shootouts, you weren't having as many shootouts. I mean, they were there obviously, but
the thing is with the shootouts, it's like you have to shoot out and run away and hide.
There's different ways to play. You can play the whole game stealthy. I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's anything that you have to fight.
No, you can. Yeah, you can sneak through everything.
You can. Yeah.
So, I mean, that is cool.
It's
I mean,
difficult,
going to gameplay. I mean, there's a lot of replayability because, when I played, I just was aggressive the whole way through, and you know, the game's really fun that way, but I can see the appeal of playing, you know, stealthy. But
Yeah, I definitely tried to stealth a lot, but there's a few parts where, and this is
Yeah.
where it comes back to where I thought the sound and graphics really dragged me. I got very emotionally involved at certain scenes in the game where I was like, screw it, I'm not being stealthy, and I just grabbed the biggest weapon. I just like mowed through
Oh,
people,
yeah.
and I was just like,
Like,
you're
playing
getting
aggressive in that game is really fun.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, and you can do that. You have
Yeah.
the option. You can either ghost the guys, or you can run in and just light everybody up.
Yeah, I mean, certain, you know, depending on the part of the game you're in, you know, trying to like Rambo your way through might be harder than other parts, and then, you know, some parts are definitely better for stealth, but, you know, you definitely have your options of how you know, like take each part down, which is cool.
Yeah, equally as satisfying either way through. But I will say my first time through, kind of like luring everybody in with a brick and then lighting them up with a Molotov cocktail and then blowing them away.
Yeah.
It's definitely very, very satisfying.
My favorite
like using
combo
the
is
shiv.
the
Yeah, the
shiv's
shiv.
cool. I like actually when they're walking down the hallway, they jump out of the hallway, hit them in the face with a brick, and while they're bent over, just run with a pipe and just like golf swing to their head. I thought that was
Yeah, the pipe is
satisfying
good
crunch.
when you bind the shiv to it
Oh,
because
yeah.
then you can use it a whole bunch of times. And usually you can take out a clicker with one hit if you have the upgrading
Yeah.
pipe. So that's good.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, weapon upgrades and all that stuff, that's all fun. There's upgrades just for your character with, like, medication and stuff. You can, you know, improve your stats. So, I mean, there's stat building and all that, and that's pretty cool. So,
Yeah, I like it. I always like the stat building in a game, especially if it doesn't feel
Yeah.
like tacked on. It felt like it really served its purpose, especially with grabbing like the parts, like the weapon parts, and using that to like modify your
Yeah.
weapons.
And-
They actually carry that over to the multiplayer too, which you know I thought was really cool because that made that portion of the game stand out. So you know, all around pretty awesome.
yeah. And then there's just, like, the item scavenging. Like, that's kind of fun. Like, after you kind of clear out an area, you kind of have, like, the option to move forward or explore. And, I mean, you really shouldn't turn the exploring away because, I mean, like, you just find
Oh, yeah, you find tons of stuff.
way more
Yeah.
stuff. But, like, yeah, it's just kind of fun exploring the world. And
I like that the crafting system was not, you know, this like crazy complicated thing. It was like you had a basic set of resources that you could collect, and then certain things overlap. So sometimes you'd have to make a choice: either do I craft this med kit, or do I make another bomb, or do I make, you know, something else. But I liked how it was. Everything was really simple, and it was easy to make, you know, make your upgrades or make your melee weapons or whatever. So that was good.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's nothing more on gameplay, then let's round things out with the story and the plot here. Now, I think that that Joel is definitely a believable character and has a really good story arc throughout this whole thing. Yeah. And then you've got Ellie, who's an outstanding support character, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts was their interactions. You know, like as the plot moves along, their relationship grows as well, and it's just it's tremendous.
yeah, the game gets pretty deep.
Yeah.
Like, you know, with the story between, there's, like, very subtle, like, conversation between
Yeah,
them.
and it works really well.
Yeah.
The story's definitely very heavy. I think a funny thing I heard. Actually, I was at home playing. My wife was watching me play, and I was playing the beginning scene. Which, if you played the game, you know how the beginning starts.
Yeah, that's a pretty important piece of the overall.
Yeah, and she's watching me play at the whole ending scene. She just looks at me and goes, "Huh, not like Mario, huh?" Like,
No,
I
no,
just thought that
no,
was
no,
funny.
no.
That intro was
Oh,
intense. That was an intense.
Yeah. So,
intro.
but the story's like they could make that into a movie or like
Yeah.
like an HBO series, and it would be just as compelling. Like, you know, I want to see what happened next. I really enjoyed the characters. I mean, the side characters were good. It was mainly Joel and Ellie, but I mean, they could carry, I think, a movie or a show like
Yeah.
that because
Sure,
you know
yeah.
they're
Some
compelling
colorful
enough.
side characters.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Emphasis on the colorful.
But they're definitely like, you know, the main two there, and they're awesome. So
Yeah. I mean, the story, I think, is really what makes the game. I mean, without the story, it's just another third-person shooter. It really does play a lot like Uncharted, and I feel like it does take a lot of elements from Resident Evil. But yeah, like, it's a cool game, but, you know, without the story, it's kind of like you kind of expect.
Yeah,
You
you
know.
need that hook to
Yeah.
to be able to see what's coming next
Yeah.
and to keep playing.
And the story's spot on.
Yeah.
Like the story really is good, and you know, it's definitely a must play. I mean, we all gave it great scores, so.
yeah, I mean, yeah, the story definitely carries a lot. I felt like the gameplay was really good too. Now, like I said, I've been also playing the multiplayer a lot, which is just like there's like no story to it, obviously, just like your 4v4 like deathmatch type game. And I feel like that by itself too is also very solid. So that for me helps carry the game from being just like a rental or a borrow to like a a buy, because there's more beyond the main campaign on there. And the main campaign, that alone was like 18 hours for me. And now I've put in like a bunch more hours just on multiplayer, and I haven't even attempted to do the story mode the second time. So I'm definitely getting my money's worth.
Do you guys think the single player has replay value?
I would
Well,
say
it does
so.
have New Game Plus,
Yeah.
right? So you can keep your skills and stuff. Is there? Do you lose your items, or because I haven't restarted it?
I actually haven't touched the New Game Plus yet, which I would, but the only problem is when I beat it on normal, so now I can only do normal easy.
Oh
New
yeah,
Game
that's
Plus,
right. You
so-
can only do New Game Plus on the same difficulty.
So I
Yep.
want to do Survivor next. If I get through it, then maybe try New Game Plus again. So, but I felt like the single player, the story, the collecting, and just the combat alone was enjoyable enough in that 18 hours I played that it wouldn't be painful to play through it again. I would enjoy a second playthrough.
I mean,
Sure.
plus there's different ways to play too. There's that.
Okay, so overall, then you guys think this game was worth the hype, because right before release, the hype, everybody was
hype was
going
huge.
bonkers about it. So worth the hype, you think?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
although I'm
Okay,
getting pretty
absolutely.
tired of the whole undead, thing. I don't know. It seems like I'm seeing way too much of it.
All right,
lately.
the whole
I'm getting
undead
tired
thing
of it.
is, but I don't even think they're the main they
No,
cause
I
the
think
problems, but it's all about like how humans are bad. I feel like that's the feeling
Yeah.
I get.
Yeah,
from it.
I
I'm
agree.
just
I
saying,
don't-
like the whole undead.
You
Like
have the
I
infected,
understand
you
the
have,
story.
And they're not undead,
the
Steve.
clickers there, and that but I feel like you see them less than you do the actual humans.
Right, but
But
the,
But I know what you're
the
saying.
undead is still in the
Yeah.
game, and I'm
They're not.
tired of seeing this
wait,
stuff.
Steve. They're not undead. They're infected by a fungus. They're not zombies.
They're undead.
They're
They're people that were
fun
alive.
dead.
They're people that were alive that are infected.
they're hypnotized.
And that's the point I'm trying to make. I know they're not zombies, but they are undead.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of it.
All right, well,
They're no. These guys.
I wanna
these guys
see
are,
something
no.
new.
These guys are
the
fungal
zombie thing is
maniacs. They're
played
not
out.
dead.
It's played out.
I enjoy zombies and everything. And I agree, it's a little played out, but I mean, it worked in this setting. It didn't feel forced, and like I said, it wasn't just like waves of zombies either. I felt like, especially towards the later half of the game, there was a lot more emphasis on the bad humans out there, and how maybe the world's not worth saving because, look how we've turned out. That's what I got out of it. So they were just like the spark that lit the fuse, or however you want to put that.
It's a human story. It's a human story with fungal guys in it.
Yeah. Human story with mushrooms, fungus.
Yeah.
It's like the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, kind of, sort of, more or less.
Yeah.
All right, so on this one, then obviously we're saying must play at the very least, probably a buy. If you factor,
you own-
Definitely
if
a
you factor
buy.
in the
Yeah, I would
multiplayer,
definitely buy
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Definitely.
If you own a PlayStation 3 and don't play this, then there's something wrong with you.
I also think that's the PS3 is so close to the end, and such a great game has come out, and I know we still have Beyond Two Souls, but I think this is so far the game of the year.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested to see Beyond as well. But yeah, this and we kind of knew last week this is how it was going to play out. This and BioShock, we'll probably be up for Game of the Year for sure, I think.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think it's a pretty safe bet.
Okay, so there you have it. There's The Last of Us. High scores from all of us. Definitely check it out.
Let's
And-
let's throw a shout out to some people in the forum right now. We got some people
yeah,
over here.
who do we have?
We have Nufty Tuft, who's joining us from Norway, who stayed up till 3:30 to watch the broadcast. And then we have our very
We
That's us, so
love you.
He's from
We love
Norway,
you.
so he's watching us from the future.
yeah, and then we have Sergeant Ski, our main
Oh,
man.
dude,
Sergeant
our
Ski
man,
is
Sergeant
Yeah, my
Ski.
main man.
back,
Back
Yeah, I
again.
love
There
this
you go.
guy.
and we love you, dude.
We gotta get you on the show.
Chris, if I could throw out a shout out, Nathan and I will be at SGC all
Yes,
weekend.
yes, definitely.
So all right, yeah. So
Give
Nathan
them
and
the
I
details.
we have a Beat Tom panel at the Screw Attack Gaming Convention Saturday at noon, right after the RetroWare TV panel. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have plenty of footage. We're going to get plenty of interviews. We'll have a lot of stuff to talk about next week. But yeah, that is this weekend in Dallas, Texas at the Screw Attack Gaming Convention. Nathan and I will be there for a live Beat Tom panel.
I mean, also another shout out to somebody a man who really needs no introduction. We do have Bob in the studio. He was at E3, and you guys should check out his videos
You may have
too.
seen him in the back.
Oh, that guy.
You may
got
see him
Bob.
lurking around back there.
We didn't give him a proper introduction, but he's been overseeing
Bob.
things in the back.
And you guys should check out his movie reviews. They're pretty funny.
Yes,
And,
we have a link to his YouTube channel in our sidebar on GameSlean.tv, so visit his channel as well.
Thank you.
Well, what else do we have to go shout out to? We also have
Me.
Daniel Wood. We also have Daniel Wood
Okay,
joining
yep,
us on
Dan
Game
Wood.
Slean from now on. Dan is an old friend. He's my cousin, one of the top 100 ranked Battlefield players in the world, and he is now joining us for the Game Slean family. He's going to be joining us for gameplay videos.
Yes,
on
I'm looking forward to see the
GameSlean.tv.
types of griefing videos in Battlefield, Call of Duty, whatever he's going to post on there. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, he's
Should be good.
really good.
Yeah.
So,
and then also, Tony, if you're out there,
yeah,
shout out
Tony.
to you.
Okay, yep. Our friend
Tony,
Tony, haven't seen him in what, 5-6 years at this point.
Yeah, Tony
We need
may
to try to bring him in here at some point. We'll see.
Tony may be living out his own Last of Us fantasy inside
All
of
right.
the binder.
Yeah, well, we've reached the end of the show, guys. Thank you so much for sticking with us. We'll be back next week. In the meantime, check out our website, GameSlean.tv. Follow us on Twitter @GameSlean and like us on Facebook. We need your likes. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We need your subs, so please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Any other final words?
Thanks for
Right,
watching.
full review on The Last of Us that comes out tomorrow on
SGC
GameSlean.tv.
Dallas. Be there.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us. Keep playing. We'll see you next time on GameSlean.